My name is Tony Litt. I'm the MD of Sunrise Radio, and it's my immense pleasure to bring you the official Sunrise Radio podcast. We are the #1 commercial Asian station in the United Kingdom, with many firsts to our name, and we continue to be the voice of British Asians who have given us their love and loyalty over 30 years. It's a legacy we cherish and a responsibility that we don't take lightly. Our aim has always been to entertain the listeners with the best of Bollywood and Bhangra, while also addressing their concerns. A real voice for the community, a vibrant community, and a great nation. We are proud to be British and Asian. This podcast is a compilation of some of the things we do on the station, with a stellar lineup of presenters who each have their own personality and style. It's entertaining, informative, engaging, and we hope you will enjoy it here as a podcast if you are unable to tune in to the radio. Don't forget to subscribe and tell your family and friends about this podcast. And do leave us a comment on what you think. We'd love to hear from you. All the best always. Team Sunrise.
The UK's biggest station mix. Sunrise Radio.
Hi, this is Anushka Arora. As always, lovely to have your company for the Sunrise Radio podcast. And this week, I have another special guest on the show. Hi, Adline. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm literally, I've just come back and I've been doing interviews. I'm really grateful for that.
I know. I've heard you've been really busy. But I think first things first, congratulations on being the runner-up. You really, really made us proud. We've been waving the India flag for you nice and high and feeling really, really proud, that you made it so far in the contest. So well done. Congratulations. Tell me how you're feeling now that you've had a few days to recover.
Well, I've not had any days to recover. I'm still with my bag still unpacked. But I really like that because I remember when everything was done, because you're preparing for 3 years and suddenly it's over one night, and then you're stuck and you're like, wow, was this everything? And that was the feeling that I had. But when I came down and when I spoke to my parents and everybody around, they were so, they were overwhelmed by the kind of response and people really reaching out. I think our country really wanted something like this.
Of course.
And
yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Don't worry.
So, they welcomed me with the sweetest and the kindest gestures, and I cannot be more thankful. I think they've done much more for me than I could ever do for them.
Absolutely. And of course, India's going through a really, really tough time at the moment. So I think you've brought that angle of happiness and positivity back into the country. So I think, everyone is really, really grateful for you. But I believe you, in fact, at one point tested positive for COVID as well. So just tell me how you got through all of it and, your emotions.
I even get goosebumps every time that I think about that situation, because there was a lockdown and we couldn't get a lot of things done. And I tested positive. So that meant that I couldn't meet my team members for the next 2 weeks. And at that time, I realized isolation, the kind of isolation that COVID patients go through is so difficult. I learned how difficult it is. And, I couldn't even stand that. It was emotionally very painful for me to go through that time and even prepare, because I had a lot to still prepare. So I was preparing, trying to build myself emotionally. But that time was really, that brought in a lot of humility and humanness into my preparation. Because sometimes when you're preparing for a beauty contest, what really happens is that it tends to become all about you suddenly.
Yeah.
It's about your hair and your makeup and your styling and your gown and what you're going to wear and what you're going to say, that, the essence of why you're there gets lost. So I think it was God's way to remind me my essence and my place there at the pageant. It had a lot of meaning, and it brought a lot of meaning for me to even push through despite all the problems. I think that was that turning point, and to think about my people, that I should be doing this for them. This is the least that I can do compared to what's happening in my country.
For sure. Now let's take you back to, you know, the initial days of your training, and actually the question is, I think first and foremost is, was this always your dream? Did you always want to enter this beauty pageant and then, you know, go on to be Miss India, Miss Universe?
Not at all. I never even imagined myself in this space because I felt very honestly that I'm not good enough. I was made to feel that, you know, it's maybe my skin. I had a lot of marks on my body, and I couldn't speak well because I had a lisp. So I would always, you know, stop when I'm speaking because it was so hard to pronounce a lot of words for me. But life took such a different turn when I decided that this is what I want to do, and I wanted to really represent myself there. And girls who really don't feel like they're in the right place, I wanted to do that for them and for myself, especially for myself. And things changed, and because I had such an amazing friend as a roommate who kept pushing me even through the odds and trying to, you know, she believed in me more than I could believe in myself. So she kept pushing me ahead and gave me this chance of, you know, just being there as a support system in Bombay when I had absolutely no one. I came here when I was 15 with no idea what I was going to do, where I was going to stay. I remember spending one night, you know, on the sides of Marine Drive because I had no house to go to. I was very young and I couldn't find a place for myself. I did a terrible job finding a place for myself. So from there, from having absolutely no one to today having so many people just there to support and to send a lot of love and care, it means a lot. And it just shows. And I wish every other girl that, you know, looks at this and sees this video just believes in the strength of her dreams, because, you know, I've seen miracles. Yeah. So I don't doubt that there are more to come in my life, and I'm just going to be humble and be open to accepting them.
Of course. Wow. I mean, that's unbelievable. Like, you had no home. And, you know, spending a night like that on Marine Drive, and I mean, and now look at you where you are. That is a story, and that is like history that has been made. So, you know, we see all the hard work, and hard work pays off, as they say. And I think you're a great example of that, which is so lovely. But tell me about that moment where you won the Miss Diva, that crowning moment. How was that for you?
That was, you know, because when I went on the Miss Diva stage, my objective was to represent my grandmother and to, you know, talk about her stories and talk about the female farmers of India. So I've done my job. So I am this person. I give my 100% and I accept what is given to me. I don't question it. I don't regret anything. I just move ahead because I know the importance of an opportunity. So I don't complain. I just move ahead. And that's what happened in Diva. And at that moment, I thought all my problems, all my struggles are over. And now I get to do what I really want to do. So I get crowned, and a month later we get into a lockdown.
Oh God.
No, but I think that's how life teaches you, no? Yeah. Because I was like, you know, I'm struggling. I want to do this and I want to do that project. And I know that it's going to get better for me. I'll be able to. For me, getting that financial stability was very important. And I thought that it's going to come now. And then after, when it got delayed because of the lockdown, and, you know, I had to really work very hard to get to places. Then after, it really made me value every opportunity that came my way. I did not underestimate even the slightest of it. So when I was at the Miss Universe platform, I said, okay, you know, this is the time. Everything that I went through was for a reason. God showed me this kind of life for a reason, and I'm just going to be me. I have nothing to put on for the world. I'm just going to show who I am, where I come from, the people of my place. They're very humble. They know the importance of, you know, opportunity. They know the importance of being given a chance and being given a platform. And that's what I delivered that night. Nothing but just.
Oh my God. Honestly, that is really one thing after another. But like you said, I think this pandemic has really taught us the value of almost everything. from the smallest of things. But these beauty pageants, they're quite intense in their training, you know. How was that for you? Like, was it really, really intense for you? I mean, how does it all work?
I think it gets very intense because your schedules are really tight, and you know you're supposed to be a perfectionist and everything, which is really impossible. And then you have to face criticism, and you need to know how to face those criticisms. So it's physically very demanding and mentally also, you know, to a certain extent. Well, I've been somebody who I keep a check on my mental space, and I get up early just to meditate, just to give that time to myself. So that has really saved me from the stress, because now we also were in a lockdown. There were so many things that were not accessible to me, and I had to do it on my own and try to learn how to figure things out myself. So I feel that this journey has been splendid. It's taught me so many things that I've not even learned in 20 years of my life. I've completed like a crash course in one. I'm really grateful. Yeah, exactly. I'm really grateful, and has shown me that I have that capability. I have that courage to move past this, whatever came my way. I remember at every point there was a disappointment. For example, like, you know, because of the lockdown, we were not able to complete my gown. And that's your evening gown that you have. And there were countries that came up with 4 gowns and 3 gowns, you know, as a like a backup. But I didn't even have one at the end of it. You know, I got one when I was just traveling, when I was just leaving the country, just hours before that. And that was the first time I walked in it, and I was like, oh God, I'm not able to do that.
Wow.
So at that moment, you know, when you prepare for a year, when something like this suddenly happens in the end moment and you're not able to justify what happened, you tend to get disappointed. But I told myself that, you know, I came, you know, so far not to just come this far. I need to go beyond this.
Exactly.
So just kept my ears closed and just kept, you know, because you tend to think negative. So I started just focusing on the goal, what it meant for me, what it meant for my country. I started visualizing and just went forward. Even on the night of like a lot of people ask me, do you regret going so close to the crown and not actually winning it? I remember what Lara ma'am told me. She told me that, you know, giving it your best is in your hands, but what happens is not in your hands. And I promised myself before I left that no matter what happens, I want to return I went as a winner, and I want to return as a winner. So when I came at the airport, I did not, I held the flag high like a winner, because, you know, through it all we were victorious. And not everybody's going to get a crown and a sash, and you don't really need a crown and a sash to do the work that you do. All our role models, they don't wear a crown and sash all the time. So I think for me that was important.
And can I just say, you are a winner for us. You are our real winner.
Thank you. It's so sweet.
Now, what would you say is the most memorable moment of all these years of that intense training, the hardships that you face, the challenges that you've come through? You know, you said you've gone from, you know, thinking negative and being really positive, your meditation. What's that one thing, if you could pick out, that has been really memorable for you? What would you say it's been?
This is something I cannot explain. I'm going to try to explain what the feeling is. It's this feeling inside of you. Even if, you know, things go wrong, there's something that picks you up and tells you to move ahead. And I witnessed it. I don't think I can ever do all of this again, because it took a lot from me. But there was something that was guiding me, that was pushing me every time in the most unforeseeable circumstances. So I'm really glad and I'm thankful for that force that really helped me get through this. And obviously my parents that are in Kuwait, I never got a chance to be with them physically for so long, and I really wish I could be with them and, you know, kind of share this journey with them. But regardless, they have been a big support system, very understanding to my moods and my whatever I was going through. I'm really great. And I had a friend, the one that pushed me so far. Her name is Priyanka Bhatt, and she really held me with my hand every step of the way. Every disappointment, she really gave me that push. No, it's not the end. Look at the bright side.
Yeah, and I feel like
I think I'm blessed to have that support system.
Yeah, you need someone like that, especially not I think just through a beauty pageant, but during this pandemic as well. You need that one person who is actually going to hold your hand and say, you know what, it's okay, everything will be fine, we will get through this. So that's lovely to know that Priyanka was that person for you. Now, what are your plans now that you're back in India in terms of work? What is it that you would like to do going further?
So I've been in the entertainment space in terms of being a model and working, in digital ads and commercials and all that. So it's very natural for me to continue in this space and try to make it big. At the same time, because of what this platform is giving to me, like what the kind of confidence that it's instilled in me. So I want to use that to build a business of my own, to get into the agricultural sector, because it looks like a big plan. It's quite ambitious, but I think I can achieve it now. Looking at whatever the kind of people I've met and what I've learned from them, I'm sure that I can do this on my own. But for right now, I'm focusing on really being connected to my community here and to be able to reach out to them using this platform in whatever small way possible, and just being with them just for these couple of days. It's been a year of really hustling, really kind of getting everything together. I really want this time for myself and to be able to do the things that I love. And I love connecting with people. I love talking to people around, and that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's so lovely. And in terms of like, if you were to get any movie offers, would you be interested in doing that going forward?
Absolutely. Why not? I would love to do acting characters. I just wish, I have that opportunity to portray somebody who's been kind of like avoided by society, like LGBTQ communities in India, their stories and people and societies that have been ignored in our country, whether it's the Northeast or all of these. I would love to be involved in these stories, not only on screen, maybe off screen also, to do something about it. It's very inspiring. It's very motivating for me to do.
Well, you are inspiring. You are a huge motivation to so many people out there, Adline. Thank you so much. And before I do let you go, if you would like to give a message to your fans around the world who are going to be watching this.
I'm very grateful to you guys for giving me... am I looking at the screen? Yeah.
Yes, you are. This
okay. I'm very grateful to all of you for giving the kind of love and appreciation that you have given me. Sometimes I do think about whether, I've done enough to make you guys proud. But one thing is that I know that I have a lot of love for my country, and I will continue to push and do much more than I can for you guys. And I feel for every girl out there who feels like she's not good enough and feels like a complete loser sometimes, please don't listen to other people's opinions about you. Trust me, when you start listening to the voice that is inside, your life changes. And my life is the testimony for it. So every time you feel like you just can't get through it and you can't believe in yourself or have confidence in who you are, I just encourage you to see mine and how imperfect my journey has been. It's not been perfect, and I hope that a lot of Miss Universes in the future are watching me right now. I want to tell you that you don't need a crown or a sash to do the things that we do. You're very important, and so is your work. Don't let people judge you because of your looks, but tell them that your worth comes from your work and the value that you bring to the table.
How beautiful. That is so lovely. So inspiring, Adline. Thank you so much. And honestly, we can't wait to have you in London. We really can't wait to have you here. So hopefully that's going to be soon. I
wish the same. And I hope everything's fine in London in terms of the COVID cases.
Yes, it's much better. It's getting really good, touch wood. Yeah. So things are starting to open up, which is really nice here, and feel some form of normality. But I pray for India that it gets better really soon and it really heals quickly.
It will get better, but I mean, I'm very confident looking at the way the people are really coping up with what's happening. I think it's going to get better soon for sure.
Fingers crossed. Adline, thank you so much. Take care.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Listen to our Bollywood queen, Anushka Arora, from 12 noon to 4 p.m. weekdays on Sunrise.
The Bhangra Showdown with Ameet Chana.
It gives me great pleasure to be joined, I believe, in LA right now. I might be wrong. The singer, songwriter and dancer, in fact, DIXI. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Am I right in saying that you're in LA?
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, so what time is it in LA right now?
It is 9:17 a.m.
AM, so I got you out of bed basically on a Saturday morning, is that what you're saying?
I basically woke up to be on the show.
You woke up to be on the radio. It's a great way to start the day, let's face it, right?
True.
Now, LA is one of my favourite places in the world. I was fortunate enough to live out there for a little while I went to film school, and I know how beautiful it can be around about this time of the year. So tell me you've got some sunshine at least, because we haven't.
Yes, it's beautiful right now, and I live right on the beach. So
all right,
nice.
okay, enough now. Now you're making it worse. I didn't ask you to make it worse, just asked me to tell you had some sunshine. DIXI, congratulations on your brand new single. It is a great tune.
Yay, thanks so much. I'm glad you like it.
It is such a great vibe. It's got that kind of dance, feel-good kind of vibe. You're working alongside two of the young, kind of most talented young boys from out of that part of the world as well, originally from Chicago, Twinbeatz, of course. How did that come about? How did the collaboration come about?
So Twinbeatz and we have worked on a few songs actually in the past.
Right.
So they came across my Instagram profile, I think, a couple of years ago, and then they had reached out to me because they wanted me to be a female collab on one of their songs that they were working on at the time. And then since then, we just kind of became really good friends. And, over the last year, they've really been great mentors to me. They've kind of been trying to, because they've been in the game a little bit longer than I have, so they've been kind of guiding me and, helping me out. And we've just become such great friends that, I think we were just like, let's do something else. And they were coming out to LA to shoot a couple of their other videos, so they were like, well, we're coming out there, so why don't we just come up with the songs while we're out there? And they were crashing at my place, so they're like, we can just shoot the video and everything while we're there. And so this project actually was the turnaround time was really quick. Like, they came here, the day before they came here, they came up with the lyrics and the beat and stuff, and then that was it, when they got here, we just shot the video, and it was a very quick process. It was really cool.
And that's always a good thing, though, isn't it? Because it means that it works. If you're desperately trying to work on something and it's not quite happening, it takes weeks and months, maybe it's not quite right. But the fact that something happens so smoothly and swiftly means that there's a positive energy, right?
Yeah, and it was very natural, and it was very easy, and it was a lot of fun, so...
Sounds like you had fun making it, but it also looks like you had fun shooting the video. Tell us a little bit about that, because these boys are based in California as well now, right?
Well, so they are not here yet. They are actually moving here, though, pretty soon, I think. They're trying to make that transition. They just have been kind of stuck because of COVID. Yeah. But they will be out here soon. But, yeah, so they came down. They wanted to shoot some of their videos, and then they had some gigs out here. So, for the music video, it's, if you listen to the song, it kind of has that 80s, 90s funk type beat. And so for the video, I thought it would be really cool to kind of do like a blast from the past type thing and, bring back what was in the 90s and, like the scrunchies and the butterfly clips. Yeah. And the overalls and all that stuff. And so I thought it'd be really cool to kind of just incorporate all those 90s things that made those times so great. And for me, it was fun because, I kind of felt like I got to be a kid again because that was my childhood, So that, and then, I don't know, one day I just thought of the roller skates, and I was like, wait, that'd be really cool to just incorporate roller skating in the music video. So we threw that in there as well.
But this is it, right? Because, the globe has been in amongst of a pandemic. Of course, we all know that every part of the world has been hit by this kind of invisible virus, as it were. But it must have been so nice, I'm guessing, after at least a year of sitting still, even for you guys, I know it's been like that for us here, to be able to get up and make a track and shoot a video.
Yeah, it was pretty liberating, too. Because it was really easy to do and very safe. Like, we just found a peer space and, made sure that we all were wearing masks and whatever. And we were able to do it. And, there's only 3 of us, so it was fine. I was already vaccinated, I think, at that time. And, and both of them had gotten tested, at least. So it was a very safe process, and it was just so much fun. It was so much fun.
It looked like you had loads of fun as well. And actually, you mentioned the kind of genre feel of it, the 80s, 90s. There's a slight disco feel to it as well. How did the vibe of the track come about? I know you said you sat down and kind of banged it out lyrically quite easily, but what dictates the genre of the song when you're producing a track?
I think it just depends. I think it's for me, or maybe even for them, but it's kind of what's kind of in or something that you might hear that you're like, wait, I really like the vibe of that song. I kind of want to do something like that. So I think we had heard, I don't know if it was them or me, but one of us had heard a song that kind of had that funk vibe, and you know, I guess I hadn't done that. I think were trying to do some of that old school stuff with some of the other songs, so they were kind of already riding on that wave. But for me, I had never done anything that was really, you know, funky or like old school like that. So I think for me, you know, it was cool because they kind of introduced that idea to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm down. Like, that'd be really cool. Initially, it was tough because I was like, this is such a different vibe.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. It's actually harder to come up with something desi to that kind of vibe. But you know, we were able to pull it off, and I think, and you know, they came up with the beat so well. Like, that was a hard beat for them to create, and they pulled it off really well. So.
If you're just tuned in, you're listening to the Bhangra Showdown here on Sunrise with me, Ameet Chana. I'm in conversation with the very talented and the lovely DIXI, all the way from Los Angeles in the USA. She's got a brand new single out with DJ Twinbeatz, of course, the brothers from Chicago. I'm going to be playing it in just a little while, but actually you almost touched on what I wanted to mention there. It's a strange thing, isn't it, when, like for you, when the music that I've seen you and heard you release over the last couple of years, you are kind of multi-genre. Not one song has a similar sound to the other. How was it for you to kind of sit on a Panjabi influenced song? I mean, forget the genre of the music, but there is a Panjabi feel to this track.
Yeah, so I mean, I love Punjabi music, so I think for me, it was only a matter of time before I started tapping more into, you know, like the Punjabi flavor, Punjabi culture type songs. So this was great. Like, I think this was a good introduction for me into that, and I have actually worked on a few others that will also be Punjabi, and I think now it's great because they were like, you know what, you can actually pull off the Punjabi pretty well. Like, you know, your pronunciation's pretty good, and so if you want to go in that direction, you're able to do it. And so I think I'm going to try to do a few more. I've already been working on some more that are Punjabi, purely Punjabi. So I'm excited. I love the culture. I love the style of Punjabi songs too. So I'm excited.
And you sound very comfortable doing it as well. I look forward to hearing the other ones. DIXI, just give me a little introduction into your world of music. How do you introduce to music, and what made you want to become a singer-songwriter?
For me, to be honest, it started out just a hobby, and I really didn't know that it was going to turn into something more. But honestly, you know, opportunities were just coming my way the more I was putting myself out there. And, you know, I've always enjoyed music since I was a baby. You know, I used to play the piano as a kid by ear, and then I was a dancer since the age of 4. So I think music has always been a very big part of me, and the singing just kind of naturally came along with it. And you know, over the years, I've just been doing covers and performing at events and whatnot. And now here I am, you know, releasing my own original music. So it's been great.
It has been great. It's been an interesting kind of journey to watch you kind of discover yourself as a musician, actually. Like I said, you know, I've heard a bunch of previous releases, and of course, media moguls who look after you here in the UK, you know, they always send me your new stuff. And this is quite a different journey for you, like I said, with the Punjabi influence. But what's to come then, DIXI? Are you going to continue to kind of, as you've said, you've got a few more Punjabi influenced tracks, but predominantly you sing in English. Is there more of that to come as well?
I think I have. I mean, most of my stuff thus far has been kind of, you know, fusion-y. It's been like Hindi and English, and not very much Punjabi. But I think, you know, I'm trying to do everything. I don't want to stick to one genre, and I think because I'm able to do all these different genres, I want to continue to do that. So I will have, you know, I have another one with Twinbeatz actually coming out probably at the end of the summer. That one will be more of like a Bollywood EDM type, which is also very different, but it will have that Bollywood Hindi. And then I have another one that will be, another one or two that will be Punjabi purely, and then another one that will be more Desi. So most of my stuff is going to be more Punjabi or Hindi moving forward.
Okay, great. Well, we look forward to it. It's very exciting for me to play this track, because when I heard it, I was like, wow, I'm literally, when I heard it, I was like, there is a vibe on this track, and I have to get you on the show to talk about the track and play it as well. DIXI, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Hopefully one day our paths will cross in a studio and we can have a proper chat and a sit down if ever you make it to UK and this pandemic ever is behind us. I look forward to having you in the studio.
Yes, for sure. Thanks so much for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. Good luck with everything. Send our love to the Twinbeatz boys as well. We play a lot of their stuff here on the show. And good luck with everything. It's been a joy to speak to you.
Thank you, and likewise.
Join Ameet Chana every Saturday from 4 p.m. for the Bhangra Showdown, playing you the finest in Punjabi and Bhangra music from the past, present and future.
The UK's biggest station mix.
This is Anila Dhami on Sunday.
I'm now joined by Vaccines Minister Nadhim Zahawi. Good morning, Minister Zahawi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, new data is showing that the AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccines work against the variant from India, which is good news. Does it look likely then that the roadmap out of lockdown will go ahead next month?
It is good news, Anila. It's great to get the data from the scientists at Porton Down, the Public Health England scientists, and it does demonstrate that both the Pfizer and the AstraZeneca vaccine are effective against the B.1.617.2 variant, which originally was identified in India, after the second dose. So my message to all your listeners today is please make sure when you get the invitation to come forward, because we're bringing forward second doses to an 8-week interval rather than 12-week between doses for the people who are over 50. Make sure you take your second dose as soon as you can. Really, really important to get that additional protection. Now, in terms of the 21st of June, the Prime Minister will be saying more of that on that by the end of this month. And of course, by the 14th of June, as we have done with the previous steps, whether it's step 1, 2 or 3, we will obviously 7 days out, as the Prime Minister has done, hold a press conference, show the data, share the data, I should say, with the nation. And I would say we are cautiously optimistic is probably the best way to describe it to your listeners.
And of course, you talk about the second dose being really crucial in combating variants, particularly the one as identified in India. But there are lots of young people who still haven't had the first dose. Is there going to be now a push for young people, especially when we've seen evidence that young people in India in particular have been very severely affected by coronavirus and that variant? Should there now not be a push for younger people to be getting vaccinated?
So the success of our vaccination program, Anila, you I'm sure will recognise, is because we focused on both large-scale vaccination. We touched, I think our record was 27 jabs a second, as well as targeted towards those who are most vulnerable to severe infection, hospitalisation, sadly some death, following the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisations advice. These are the experts who advise us on how we should be targeting. Now, their advice is to continue at speed going down the age cohorts. So, we're now at the age of 32, where you can get your vaccination. We'll soon move below that. And I'm confident that we will hit our target of offering the first dose of vaccine to anyone over the age of 18 by the end of July. So we're moving at pace. The limiting factor, Anila, is the vaccine supply. Now,
yes, and I want to ask you about that. I mean, what is the supply looking like? Because we've seen there were less vaccines coming in. We've seen the situation in India. And the fact that, they're obviously in dire need there of vaccines. How strong is the UK's vaccine supply?
Well, we were one of the first countries, if not the first, to contract with Pfizer BioNTech. We were the country that invested in manufacturing of the Oxford AstraZeneca, both in Oxfordshire and in other parts of the country. We've invested in a vaccine that hasn't yet been approved, but is looking good as well, the Valneva vaccine in Scotland, and of course Novavax vaccine, again, one that is on the way in Teesside in the northeast of England. So we've got a lot of vaccines coming through. At the moment, vaccine supply is stable in terms of both the two big vaccines which we have, which is the Pfizer BioNTech and the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, and some Moderna as well. And I'm confident that we will hit our target by the end of July target. I'm certainly confident that we will meet that target. And then we'll keep going, of course, because we have to make sure that those who get their first dose by then will get their second dose as soon as we can make it available. So I'm confident in our supply lines. We've been, I think, very thorough in our contracting with these companies and working with them to make sure we get that. It's never easy. I'm a chemical engineer by background. I can tell you any manufacturing process has its challenges, especially a novel new vaccine. And you make sure the safety procedures, the protocols, the batch testing is all in place. And that has happened. So, we've had a really, really good outcome, I think, to the manufacturing challenges that we've faced.
Absolutely. And I should say congratulations, because it has been a phenomenally successful vaccination programme. When do you think that all young people will have received their second dose? Because, of course, now on people's minds is the international travel. We will come to vaccine passports and that discussion too, but very much things are opening up. And at the moment, young people who haven't even had the first dose may be worried and thinking, when will we have the second, especially when the data shows that it is those two jabs that cause the efficacy rate to be higher against variants?
Absolutely. It's worth just remembering that obviously young people who needed the protection. So if you remember, category 6 in phase 1 was about 7 million people. Within that were people with underlying health conditions between the ages of 16 all the way up to 64. And of course, the category 1 of phase 1 was residents of elderly residents of care homes, but also those who look after them, so social care workers and healthcare frontline workers. So they've all been protected in phase 1. Now, as we head towards that July target and offering everybody over the age of 18 the first dose, once we hit that, we will be able to see where our supplies are then, to see where we can then offer the second dose for them to be able to have both the protection of both doses. And it'll probably be predominantly Pfizer and Moderna, because that is the preferred vaccine by the JCVI for the younger people. And I'm confident we'll be able to do that as well. At the moment, that the dosing interval we've brought down to 8 weeks between doses for the over 50s, and if supply allows, then we'll do the same for people between the ages of 18 and above, 18 to 30. But
do you think in that case people who are between 18 and 30 shouldn't be travelling abroad at the moment then, if they haven't had their vaccine?
You should really only be travelling abroad if you're travelling to countries on the green list. Now, they are very few countries like Portugal and Israel, and that is limited at the moment, but we review that every 3 weeks. The amber list countries, where the bulk of the countries are on that, and the biosecurity team, review the variants in those countries and the level of infection and vaccination, the amount of vaccination in those countries. And some sadly had to be moved to obviously the red list. We've got 43 countries on the red list. Nobody should be traveling to those countries unless it is essential travel for amber or red list countries. And of course, our UK nationals coming back from those countries have to take 3 tests, one pre-departure, one after 2 days, one after 8 days, and quarantine, whether in hotels or at home, for 10 days. So in terms of travel, that is my very strong advice, is only green list countries. And we'll continue to review that. Look, this is not a normal year. This is a year when you have to not only look at the home, the Foreign Office advice on travel, but also on those host countries' advice, because that's also changing all the time. So just be careful and be sensible. And I think we're moving to a stage where, rather than having sort of vaccine instructions from the government by diktat, or how you deal with the COVID virus by diktat, to actually being sensible and using common sense. And I think that's the right approach. And people are on the whole incredibly compliant. I said it in my interview with the Mail on Sunday, that Dunkirk spirit that led us to the most successful vaccination program in history, I also think is there for people and their communities and their families, where they're thinking, you know what, of course, I still have to be careful. Hands, face, space, wash your hands constantly, be careful when you see loved ones, but just be sensible. That's the important thing. And exercise the same common sense when it comes to travel.
Talking of vaccine supplies and the age groups, we are moving towards these booster jabs, aren't we? What can you tell us about the booster jabs?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, we have just begun, and the Secretary of State for Health, Matt Hancock, announced that we are investing £19 million in testing the different vaccines for a single shot boost to those who have people. We began vaccinating, if you recall, on the 8th of December with the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for frontline healthcare workers, social care workers, the over 80s, the over 75s, the over 70s, and the clinically extremely vulnerable. And of course, we also used the AstraZeneca Oxford vaccine on the 4th of January. So when the clinicians think, and that question is still to be answered, that those early people who we vaccinated, the most vulnerable, need to be boosted, then we should be ready for that. And that's my planning. That's what I do with the team. So COV Boost is the clinical trials to test all the different vaccines, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, CureVac, and of course, Valneva, Novavax, and so on. But at the same time, we're also making sure that we have the supply side, the supply of the vaccines, to give Chris Whitty, the Chief Medical Officer, as much optionality, as many options as possible when we need to go. But we'll be ready. The NHS is already making plans to be ready from September, if we need to go to September, or maybe October, November, or early in the new year. But we'll be ready from September to deploy. And then, of course, how does that dovetail with the flu season? We have to be really careful and have a really big ambition to protect people from flu as well, because we've had a relatively mild, we've been unscathed by flu because we've had such a severe lockdown from December onwards. We need to be as sort of, conscious of the fact that we could have a flu season that is, larger than normal, and we're making plans for that as well.
Right, okay. And also in those trials is looking at the mixing of vaccines too. How likely is that looking then?
So that's a separate clinical trial. That's the mix and match clinical study where we're looking at mixing Pfizer with AstraZeneca and so on. So one jab Pfizer, one jab AstraZeneca, and then the other way around, and of course other vaccines. That will report by the end of the summer. So it will not really impact our current deployment for this vaccination program. But it is an important part of the sort of overall protection for the world. Not only are we gifting hundreds of millions of vaccines through the Oxford team and the AstraZeneca team. I think we're at 450 million now that have gone to low and middle-income countries, predominantly AstraZeneca Oxford. The bulk of that is AstraZeneca Oxford. But also the mix and match will allow, obviously, us much greater flexibility around the world to protect people as quickly as we can, as obviously manufacturing volumes begin to increase from all the manufacturers.
Right. And we did ask our listeners to send in some questions. So I'm going to put some of those questions to you. Lee's message saying, you've gone back on your thoughts of vaccine passports for domestic use and wants to know why. And he says he believes they're discriminatory, particularly against young people who are at the back of the vaccine queue.
Lee, thank you for your question. We haven't. So what we've done is, because we could see that a number of countries around the world were going to be making it a requirement that you have to have some sort of vaccine certification. In the way, by the way, people have to with the yellow fever vaccine passport, vaccine certificate when they travel to different parts of the world that require it. We decided to operationalize and allow people to be able to see their vaccination history on their phone using the NHS app, or physically by requesting a letter to be sent to them with their vaccine history. So if they need to travel and there's a condition of travel, then they would do that. So that's for international travel. Now, your question domestically, still reviewing. We're looking at both asking people the question by consulting with stakeholders. Why? Because we can't have a system, and that's where we have to answer the really hard to answer questions, that is discriminatory in any way, or the ethical questions around that have to be addressed, which is why the Prime Minister, Lee, asked Michael Gove to review all this and then report on it before the 21st of June. Why? Because it would be remiss of us, Lee, if there is technology that can be utilized to open up the more challenging parts of our economy. Say, for example, large-scale mass participation events in sports or entertainment, instead of opening up Wembley to 20% or 25% of people who can attend, imagine if you can use technology to open up to 100%. So it would only be right for us to at least look at all this stuff, because I think otherwise I'd be coming on your show, Anila, and you'd be saying to me, but we've seen this technology work elsewhere in the world. Why didn't you think of it, Minister? So that is exactly why we're reviewing this.
I think some of the concerns, and we've
answered the ethical questions and the important questions around, what if people can't get vaccinated? Then what do you do about those people? So it'll probably be a combination, not just of vaccine certification, but testing, as we've seen with the different, really wonderful events in Liverpool and the FA Cup final, and now in the Premiership games, where people have been able to go to games if they take a pre-game test and then take a test after the game. All that work is taking place, and it would be irresponsible if we didn't look at all this stuff to see how we open up the more challenging parts of the economy.
I guess people are concerned that with the vaccines and combating COVID, they want a sense of returning back to normality, and having to perhaps go down the pub and show your vaccine certificate on your NHS app isn't really returning to that sense of normality. And is there that possibility that after June the 21st, to go to a restaurant or a pub or to go shopping, you may have to show that vaccine passport or certificate?
I hope you've all enjoyed going both to a pub garden when we were at step 2 and now step 3. As of the 17th of this month, been able to go to a pub indoors or a restaurant indoors, as I have done, and I hope you've done as well, Anila and Lee, and you haven't needed to show any certificate at all. And there was lots of sort of, I think, speculation that we were going to introduce that, and absolutely that's not the direction of travel. It's not about having you have to sort of demonstrate that you've had a vaccine before you can enter a pub, because, as I said, those sort of ethical discriminatory questions are things that we have to address. You can't simply just say, oh well, we haven't really thought these things through. But if we can open up a mass participation event, large scale events, by using the technology of rapid testing as well as vaccination, then it's only right that we look at it. But as again, I repeat again, when we do look at that, we have to make sure whatever system we introduce cannot be discriminatory and has to have allowances for people who can't, for all sorts of reasons, be vaccinated.
And one final question. Katie's called in this morning wanting to ask, what's the plans for the government to ensure vaccines are available for all adults as promised? She says currently people without NHS numbers and those with NHS numbers who aren't registered with a UK GP are being turned away when they try and book an appointment to get vaccinated. And she says it's a serious issue.
Katie, I'm very happy after this call if you can, through your producers, Anila, send me the details, because you shouldn't need that. We did a lot of early planning on this because we've been vaccinating the homeless community, and I went to look at how that was going with second doses earlier this week, in fact. It's really important that people have access, undocumented migrants have access to the vaccination program. I've paid a lot of attention in this area, part of the uptake strategy that I launched on the 13th of February on this. So you don't need and should not need that. And very happy to take that on board and look at the detail. Now, it's always easier when you're having this massive deployment infrastructure where we are able to do, as I said, coming up to 1 million doses a day. We have that capacity. We don't have the vaccine supply. Right. That's our limiting factor. But it's always easier to register with your GP and have that NHS number because the process is much smoother. But for those who don't have an NHS number, they should not be precluded from getting a vaccine.
Minister Zahawi, it's been excellent to speak to you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Tune in every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Anila Dhami on Sunday, giving the British Asian community a voice on the matters of the day.
The
You are tuned to the Love Lounge with the Love Doctor. It's a very special time right now. It is time to get flirty at 8:30.
Calling all singles. Are you ready to get flirty at 8:30? Message the studio now and let the Love Doctor of Sunrise help you find love.
Let's welcome my single person. It is Haj from Birmingham. Hi, Haj. How you doing?
Hi, Amit. I'm fine, thank you. Are you?
Very well, thank you so much for asking. I'm very good indeed, and I'm so excited to have you here, I have to say. You said to me you're feeling a little bit nervous. I'm going to try and put you at ease a little bit, yeah? I want you to rub your earlobes and go, woosa, woosa.
Okay.
Feeling better?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay, Haj, right, as you know, this is a very harmless process. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about yourself. And if we put you out there, then hopefully someone out there might hear you and think, ooh, that sounds like a lovely person. I'd love to take them out on a date. That is the idea. Are you up for it? Yep.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right, let's do it. First question for you, Haj, is tell us a little bit about the kind of person who would be your soulmate.
Oh, God, now you're asking. The list is endless.
That could be part of the problem. We may need to narrow it down a little.
Okay, someone who's reliable, responsible, and just caring and not afraid to show it. I think that's more, and ambitious as well.
Yeah, I think ambition is... It's an underestimated quality, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. So I'm quite ambitious, and I would like to be with someone who's just as equally ambitious.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Lovely. Okay, cool. So if you're caring, ambitious, outgoing, then you could be the man for Haj, potentially. So that's the first thing now I wanted to ask you. The second thing is, I want you to tell us one fun, quirky thing about yourself. I mean, if you struggle to answer this, like, what would you do? Like, an unusual thing that maybe you've always wanted to do, you haven't done yet, like skydiving or something like that. What would you do?
Strangely, if I want to do water skiing.
Nice.
I'm not a very good swimmer. That's what's putting me off. But it's always wondered what it would actually feel like just jetting behind like a boat or something. So that's definitely something I want to try.
Do you know what? If it helps at all, right? So I tried this on my honeymoon. I'm not a very strong swimmer, and I gave up after about 3 seconds when I realised how difficult it was going to be. And we were doing it in very choppy waters as well. So we decided, okay, you know what? I'll give it a miss, and maybe try at some point in the future. But yes, I don't blame you for wanting to try. I ended up doing parasailing in the end, and that was amazing.
I've done paragliding.
Oh, I would do that. I would happily do that again. So you're a bit of an adventure hound, I would say then.
Yeah, not too much. Just baby steps, just a little bit at a time.
Little bit at a time. I love it. Okay, cool. What would you cook? Like, let's say you met someone and they were your ideal person, right? You wanted to make a good impression on a first date. What would you cook your date on a first date?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not the biggest cook. I can cook, but I'm not very. Okay. I'll probably make. I know it's really basic, but I'll probably make nachos. With cheese and jalapenos on and the salsa sauce. I'll probably do that as a snack. Then I'd probably make for a main. Oh God, now you've got me. I don't know. I'm thinking of a Chinese because I'm quite good at making Chinese from scratch.
This reminds me of that TV show Dinner Day, right? Where you have to cook those.
That's it. Yeah. And then I'll probably just get a dessert, like a cheesecake or something like that.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Chinese, cheesecake, and nachos. That's a very unusual mix. Like 3 cuisines in one.
That's it.
No, that's not bad. So basically, what you're trying to say is you're looking for someone.
Hungry.
Yeah, you're looking for someone basically who's going to be the cook of the family, right? Basically, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, definitely.
A man who can cook, right? There we go. All right. One last question for you. Okay, if you had a choice, and on the date you get given something by your prospective date. Now, would you prefer to receive chocolates or flowers?
it's going to have to be chocolates. Because you can't eat flowers.
Yes, that's very true. That is, I mean, that's pretty much common sense, right? I mean, I just had a mental image of you eating flowers there. But okay, chocolates it is. So to all the gentlemen out there listening in right now, this is Haj from Birmingham. Of course, I actually missed one of the most important questions to ask you as well. Now, without revealing your own age, what is the kind of age range of the person you're looking for?
I'm going to say between 35 and 45.
All right, so we're looking for a man sort of based in the Midlands between 35 and 45 for this lovely, lovely, brave young lady called Haj, who decided to get flirty at 8:30 with us here on the UK's biggest Asian mix with the Love Doctor on the Love Lounge. You are now famous, Haj. How does that feel?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
She said extremely nervously, oh God, what have I let myself in for?
Oh my God.
No, not at all, not at all. But to any of the gentlemen, if there are any gentlemen left in this world out there, get in touch. Well, I'll put you in touch with Haj, and you never know what could happen, right? You've just got to take a chance. Take that chance and see what happens. Listen, Haj, I wanted to say thank you for being such a good sport. You are an awesome, awesome person for taking part. Did you have fun?
I did, to be honest. It wasn't as nervous and nerve-wracking as I thought.
Exactly, right?
Nice.
Is this the equivalent, the radio equivalent of you doing water skiing?
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Strange question, I know, but
Taking
yes.
a leap of faith.
Exactly, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you so much for taking part. Listen, stay on the line with me. Don't go anywhere. But in the meantime, though, for each and every one of you out there listening in here onto the Love Lounge, that's how it's done. If you're single, if you're a single person looking and hoping to be in a relationship and you'd love for the Love Doctor to help you, just drop me a WhatsApp and I'll take care of you on a Sunday evening, all right? And get flirty at 8:30. It is that time for the Couples Challenge.
It's time for the Couples Game. How well do you know your partner?
That's right, it is time for the Couples Challenge, and I have the amazing Prash and Sneha from Harrow on the phone. How you guys doing?
Hey, Amit. Excited and happy and relaxed all in one.
Yes, indeed. I'm so glad to hear that as well. Sneha, I heard you've just got home and you're a little bit tired, but you know what? You fought through the pain. You decided to, come on and be like a soldier and a trooper and just join in the Couples Challenge.
Yeah, I've just been teaching Reiki all day, so I'm a little tired, but I'm going to do this.
Oh, no, don't say that. Come on, Reiki is supposed to energize you. It's supposed to empower you.
It normally does, but it's Sunday night, I guess.
No, we're all human. We need a bit of a rest now and again. But listen, I'm so glad you guys are here. We're going to keep it really simple, really easy for you. So, you know the rules, and if you don't by now, I'll just quickly let you know that how this works is that what we're going to do is one of you will end up leaving the room and the other person will stay with me, and that person I will ask 5 questions about themselves. Then we'll get the other person back and see if they can guess their partner's 5 answers. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So who's going to be the brave one to leave the room? I'm guessing it's going to be Prash.
Yeah, I'm pretty attached to my sofa right now.
How do you feel about that, Prash? Are you ready for this, to try and figure out how well you actually know your wife?
I am. Yes, I'm ready to do that, and I accept I might mistakes because I'm always learning.
Before we do that bit, though, you know what? Just tell everyone a little bit about yourselves. How you guys met, how long you've been together, what you both do as well. Go on, shout yourselves out.
Oh, man, that's so nice. Well, we met at a philosophical talk in London on ancient Indian philosophy, and we just hit it off there. We just hit it off as friends, and then we were friends for the longest time. We are still friends for the longest time. But along the way, friendship turned to romance, and romance led to marriage.
Love is in the air.
But here we are, It's been 7 years. Yeah, it's
7 years. All right, the ultimate question, who made the first move?
Oh,
it was the lady.
Been a monk. If I hadn't, I would have just left myself to be a monk.
You'd be like Jay Shetty, right? The monk who sold his Ferrari. No, that's Robin Sharma, the monk who sold his Ferrari.
Some kind of Jay Shetty, I would have been something like that. Well, hey. I got my own podcast too, so I may as well have been.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, listen, I'm glad you're both here. So whenever you're ready, Prash, if you leave the room, and I will ask Sneha those 5 all-important questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm a bit scared, but go on.
Oh, no, honestly, so hard. You got the easy bit. What are you scared about? It's Prash who's going to be...
Get all of it wrong.
Hey, it's Prash who's going to be on the couch tonight. God. No, right, okay. Is he out of the room and he cannot hear you, right?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, cool. So 5 very simple questions, and just answer as honestly as you can. So question number 1 to you, Sneha. Tell me your favourite naughty snack. Like your naughty go-to snack.
Loads of naughty things.
What's like your go-to naughty snack? You know, when you just had one of those days and you just want to... You know me, for me, it's that vegan topic I've discovered, right? You know, that vegan topic chocolate bar.
Yeah, I loved it, by the way. It was really lovely.
That is going to be responsible for me not losing any weight before I do the marathon. But anyway, what's your one?
Oh, gosh. I would say... What do I little munch on? I think cashews.
You know what? That's a really good one. I had some cashews today and they're just so nice, aren't they? Like, they're nature's little treats. They're just so tasty. Anyway, right, there's me just waxing rhapsodic about cashews. Anyway, question number 2. Now, easy one for you. Would you rather a night in with a movie or paint the town red?
Oh, definitely. As you can tell, right, it's a night in.
I made one easy question for you guys just to give Prash a bit of a chance of at least getting 1 out of 5.
Get that one right.
All right, question number 3. You got to tell me one thing that's at the top or near the top of your bucket list, something you've never done before that you've always wanted to do.
I would love to go to Machu Picchu.
Oh, what a good one. I love that. I really want to go as well at some point in the future. Maybe we could go as do a couples thing and go. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I hope soon, right? I don't know if I'd be able to walk it all by the time we go. We'll be like...
We'll be all fogies by then. But all right, cool. Question number 4. The one place in the world you've yet to go to. I suppose this kind of ties in with your previous question as well. Okay, let's rephrase this one, okay? We're going to go... if there's one other place in the world that you've never been to except Machu Picchu that you wish you could go to, where would it be?
Maldives.
Oh, nice. I have to say.
I know, it's really cliche, but I actually haven't been to the Maldives.
Oh, do you know what? That's on my list as well. I have to say, that is one place I definitely would love to go to as well. Right, okay, last but not least, okay, question number 5. See, we got there pretty quickly. Your favourite or one of your favourite movies of all time. Like, you could watch it anytime. If you saw it on TV, it came on, you'd be like, and it's Bollywood, Hollywood, or otherwise.
There's 2 actually. Well, there's 3.
Tell me them, because we'll give Prash a bit of a chance. Go for it.
Okay, so Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
Pretty Woman.
Nice.
I know, it has to be there, right? And Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, I love it. That's at the top of my list as well. I have to say, one of the best films ever made. So you put Eat, Pray, Love, Pretty Woman.
I think that's the top out of the 3 because it gives you a lot of hope, doesn't it? It's a very hopeful film.
Yeah, no, it is. It's such a good movie. If anyone listening to this has never seen Shawshank Redemption, I don't care who you are, what you're doing right now, just go watch that movie. You will not regret it. It is storytelling at its absolute best, isn't it? But there you go. See, Sneha, that was quite harmless, wasn't it? Now is the hard bit for Prash, so bring him back in. Go on, bring him back in. And while he comes back, right, she's answered her 5 questions. And if you ever want to take part in the couples challenge, this is how easy it is, how simple. You can always WhatsApp me during the show, 07925 700 272, and take part. It is very, very simple. All right, Prash, are you there?
Yo!
Alrighty, come a bit closer. Come on.
Yeah.
He's there.
I'm really closer. I'm closer.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen,
than I've ever been before. Yeah.
Prash has got an incredible, kind of those gruff singing voice. That is incredible. We get a few notes off you in a minute. All right. So what we're going to do, Prash, is you're now going to try and guess the 5 questions and what answers Sneha gave. All right. So are you ready for this?
I am, yes, I am.
All right, don't worry. I think you've got this. I think you're going to get at least 3 or 4, right? So, first question I asked the Sneha, I said, what's your favourite go-to naughty snack? What do you think she said?
Before I do that, can I just quickly ask you one practical question?
Of course.
If I get less than 3, can I stay at your house tonight?
Yes, you're more than welcome. In fact, you can sleep in the crate with Monty.
I was hoping I could stay in your studio room upstairs with the really nice thing and a radio vegan larder. Is that okay?
That's all right. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Right, first question. Sna's favourite movie?
No, favourite go-to snack.
Oh man, cashew nuts definitely is probably right up there as the favourite, or chocolate.
All right.
Chocolate is not a snack, it's a treat. So snack, I would say, is cashews.
All right, cool, no worries. That's cool. We'll reveal the answers at the end, all right? So question number 2. I asked Sneha, I said, would you rather a night in with a movie or paint the town red? What do you think she said?
For the Sneh that I know and love, it would be a night in with a movie.
Definitely. All right, cool. Question number 3. Let's see what you think about this one. This is where it gets a tiny bit harder, all right? I asked Sneha to name one thing that's on her bucket list, or like one thing that's either at the top or very near the top at her bucket list. On her bucket list, should I say?
On her bucket list. I think she would have me talk less.
I love it.
She would have me not do my singing exercises in an open lounge downstairs, like me.
You might be surprised to find. You might be surprised to find it didn't involve you.
I think she'd also have me do less Sadhguru impersonations and Eddie Murphy impersonations and Chinese accents when I... The list goes on. But what was the question again on me?
No, that's all right. It's say one thing that was on Sneha's bucket list. It could be the top one or very near the top.
On her bucket list is definitely travel. And travel would be to Hawaii or Maldives. One of the two.
All right. Okay, cool. No worries. Now, the next question kind of related a little bit anyway to her previous answer. So I asked her a question for the one place in the world that she's yet to go to that she would love to visit.
I would say because it's on her bucket list, it's she doesn't have many material desires, and it's one of the things I love about her. She's just such a happy, spiritually minded and heart-centered person. I'm super lucky, actually, that I have somebody who's not that materially attached and happy with spiritual life, and it's making me the same. I've always been that way a little bit. So I would say that her few desires, she'd love to be out in Maldives or Hawaii. One of the two.
Nice. Okay, cool. No worries.
Probably the Maldives because we've been to Hawaii, but yeah, either or.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. That was question number 4, so we're down to the last one. Question 5. Her favorite movie of all time. Now, we're going to help you on this because she actually gave 3. So I'm only going to ask you for 1, and if you get, obviously that means you got 1 in 3 chance of getting it right. Okay, so I'll just ask her, what was her favorite movie of all time? She gave 3 options. What do you think she said?
Of all time? If it's an English movie and she mainly watches...
Bollywood or Hollywood, it could have been anything at all, so yeah.
Probably going to be Hollywood. If it's a Hollywood main film, I would have to say... Oh, God. Maybe Eat, Pray, Love, maybe, I would say. Right. I think there's a bunch that she loves. She loves comedy, but I'm going to say Eat, Pray, Love. Yeah, Coming to America is probably, but it's not one of her favorites. Yeah, like one she cherishes, probably Eat, Pray, Love. Probably.
All right. Okay, cool. No worries. All right. So you've answered all 5 questions, Prash. You'll be happy to know. You can relax just a little bit, but I'm going to keep you. Give me a second to top up all these scores. Hold on. It's quite complicated math taking place right now. It's a lot of work I need to do. Hang on a minute. This computational stuff in my head takes a long time. All right. Yeah. I've got the number. So drum roll for you, my friend. You scored. How well do you think you did, by the way?
I'd like to think I got 4. I mean, I'd like to think I know. Yeah, I'd like to think I got 4 out of 5.
Well, you scored, my friend. 4 out of 5. Woo-hoo!
Yeah!
Come on! You did really well.
Sure of it.
Are you impressed now? Are you impressed?
I am
I'm impressed. I think he was cheating, though.
Yeah. He probably was. I reckon he probably was. All right, let's just
Thanks, guys. I appreciate your show of confidence, guys. Really, thank you.
Let's just quickly tell you what you got right and what you got wrong. So, question 1, cashews all the way. Question 2, a night in or movie. Oh, sorry, night in or bigger pun, paint the town. And it was, of course, a night in. You got that one right, easy peasy. The one question you did get wrong that she mentioned about her bucket list was she said Machu Picchu. Nice. And then, of course, in the place in the world, Maldives, definitely 100%. And favourite movie out of the 3, she did say Eat, Pray, Love, and the other 2 were Pretty Woman and Shawshank Redemption. So there you go.
Wow, this is great. We're going to make sure you hit the other 2 then. Thank you for that. That's a good insight.
That is, yeah, definitely. Well, listen, it has been an absolute pleasure having you both on the Couples Challenge here on the UK's biggest Asian mix. You have been absolute superstars.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
Catch our love guru, Amit Sodha, between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. every Sunday for that chill out zone.